Hello, friends. Welcome to the latest episode of the show, which I have taken upon myself, Bone Jangles, to proactively name Squad Pod, Episode 5, PUBG Strikes Back. This week, we'll be finding out what the squad has been up to. We will be having a chat about our first experience with BR in the form of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Where will it land on our BR leaderboard? We'll find out a bit later. And if there is time permitted and the squad is all on board, I may or may not have a little trivia planned. Enough of that, though. Let's introduce you to the squad for this week. Hot dropping with us today, we have the Superman of the war zone, whose only kryptonite is a 2-foot ledge, Washburn 135. How's it going, Washburn?
Oh, what's
Jimmy
up,
got
man? I love it. Yeah, that 2-foot ledge is just, it's my Achilles heel.
There's
Next
an
up-
easier way to climb that. Just saying.
Yeah, I've had the same problem multiple times. Next up, we have the number one standing streamer, and there's absolutely no way to disprove that. Maddock Jr. What's up, Maddock?
These intros are killing it for me right now, Bone Jangles.
We also have the man who doesn't get paid enough, the COD god of the squad pod, Kevin Ace X. What's up, Kevin?
Yeah, Mike. When am I getting paid for this? I'm working my butt off. I'm getting 4.0 KDs each game, dude. Like 10 kills, 1 death. What's going on, Mike?
I think the check is in the mail, Kevin. It's somewhere in the mail.
Huh. Okay.
And finally, rounding out the squad this week, Mike's here too.
Damn.
That's it. You want me to do better than that? I do
I
have
like it,
another
I
one.
like it.
written.
I'm fine with that.
Mike,
I'm
it's-
here too, y'all.
I'll
I'm
give you the other one. I'll give you the other one. All right, where is it at?
Let me rewind.
Yeah, rewind it, Kevin. Edit this.
Yeah, it is.
The new face of Game Attack, the man who bleeds green and sweats Gatorade, Snowbike Mike. What's up, Mike?
Oh, I love that, Bone Jangles. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me back, and thank you for hosting this week. You definitely brought a smile to all of our faces here on a beautiful Sunday for episode 5. Can't wait to kick it off with you. Let's do it.
All right, so this is a squad for the week. Thank you guys so much for being here, and thank you to the viewer for watching or listening. Let's gather some intel on the squad and see what they've been up to this week. I know Warzone's probably been taking up most of our time. You guys are playing every single night up until 6 a.m. Like last night, Mike. I went to sleep, woke up, you guys were still playing. So if you don't have much to talk about, feel free to talk about anything. It could be a movie you're watching, maybe a book, maybe comic. I saw Washburn got his Joker comic in. So yeah, let me know what you guys have been up to. How about you, Snowbike Mike? What have you been up to?
Well, thank you, Bone Jangles, for getting at me. Of course, you can tell I got a brand new camera, a nice Sony A6400, and I had a special time setting it up with the guys over the weekend. We had a ton of fun messing around. Washburn was trying to show me his camera through another camera, and of course, I was fucking it all up. So, we had some times. But I do want to touch on one thing. We, of course, as a squad this week, we did have a sponsored stream on Thursday night, which was really a special time for all of us. I will say I had a ton of fun, and the game that we were sponsored to play by Functronic Labs was Wave Break. Wave Break is an arcadey Tony Hawk trick and combo based shooter slash skate boaters, what they call it, because you're on the water, you're on different boats, there's cute animals, and of course there's cold-blooded murder. Now, mind you, we did not get paid for this sponsorship. We just received game codes via the Functronics Lab. So big thank you to all of them for taking care of us with the game codes via Google Stadia. And thank you to everybody tuning in for that fun sponsored stream. I know me and the squad had a great time. So I'd love to kick the show off with just our impressions from Wave Break in that stream that we had. I know I had a great time personally. I had a ton of fun. I was awful at the game, but there's one thing I was good at, and that was shooting people dead inside the arena.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I'm still plucking my way through it. The campaign is exactly what a Tony Hawk campaign was like. So I'm having a lot of fun just going in there, trying to get the like 200,000 points or whatever the point max is for that level. There's collectibles. I think they're tapes as well, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's on Stadia as well. That's where we played it, was Google Stadia. Very impressed with it on Google Stadia. It's probably one of the only games I've played that doesn't seem off. I've played Destiny 2 on Stadia. Seems off. Aiming's off. Movement seems off. I think it might be input lag from the controller or something. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with Wave Break.
a Stadia controller out there, Bunjingles? Or
I
do you
have
just
not
using
figured.
a PlayStation?
I have a Stadia controller. I bought the Founders Pack when it came out. I didn't use it that much, and I sold my controller to a friend at work, and he let me use it for the weekend. I have not figured out how to get it connected though. My Xbox controller connects easier to my PC than the Google controller does. So I've just been using an Xbox controller.
So, what do you guys think of it? The game, Wave Break.
That's a lot of fun, man.
A lot of
I
fun,
had a
yeah.
blast with it. Yeah, when we jumped in for a couple hours for over the course of 2 nights. I know Kevin, you and I and Mike were sitting at that main menu waiting for that shop to refresh and using all the money that you earn in game to buy, cosmetics. And those cosmetics bring up the point of the aesthetic of the game, which is sort of a retro 80s Miami Vice vibe. And so for Mike to be running around with his dual hauler with the big bag of cash hanging off the side, his intent is just a green dollar sign, and his alligators wearing a Miami Vice shirt. It's like, it's hilarious, and it's got that sort of that Fallout Outer World style of humor where one of the antennas is just a middle finger.
Mhm.
It's not afraid to like get a little adult with it, which I appreciated. So the whole aesthetic of the game I really dug, and that's just visuals, and the game itself is a whole lot of fun to play.
Even the cursor is a middle finger.
Mhm.
When you're using mouse and keyboard, the cursor is a middle finger. What do you think of it, Maddock?
I had a great time. I was terrible at the trick mode, which kind of follows from being bad at the Tony Hawk tricks and creating combos and keeping them going. But I liked the deathmatch mode. I had a really good time with that, and I definitely had a good time just randomly shooting all of you during the trick mode because it's funny.
Kevin,
Yeah.
what about you?
I liked it. I did like it, was it the time attack? Me and Washburn were just destroying. Washburn was destroying the most out of everyone. He was just combos after combos, but I liked it too. But there was something off about it. I couldn't get it to like feel like Tony Hawk style. I guess it's like the water movement when you're in the water kind of throws you off because you kind of like skid off and stuff. But
Mhm.
it was kind of hard to like kind of connect combos, try to figure out what's what. But I got the hang of it after a while. But I liked it. On Stadia, it felt good too. But I can't wait for it to be on like Steam or a console where it feels more like more like smooth and stuff.
Yeah, that was my one thing with the Stadia is the I went and played Destiny 2 as well a little bit on there when, I got that free trial and I was testing out some of the games, and I've played Destiny 2 on other consoles before, right? Recently. So I know what that game's supposed to feel like, and it doesn't feel the same on Stadia. That's
Mhm.
not to say it's horrible, it just doesn't feel the same. Even with the mouse and keyboard, you can notice a little bit of input lag. Even if it's just negligible, you still notice it. But with Wave Break, this is a game that I've never played, so it felt fine. And who knows if when I download it on Steam, because I am going to download it on Steam when it comes out, if it will feel differently by a wide margin when I'm just playing it locally versus on via Stadia. And the other thing I noticed with Stadia was that a lot of the times it just that you see that YouTube style quality dip, at certain
Yeah.
times because you are
Mhm.
streaming it.
Yep.
And I just don't think the visuals via Stadia were where I wanted them to be, because the game itself looks really, really cool with it commits that style. But the Stadia quality dip, to like 720 all of a sudden out of nowhere can detract from that a little bit.
Yeah, it's not like YouTube where you can lock it in to like 1080 60. It's like you choose what you want, I guess, the highest to be. But yeah, like, you're right. It kind of dips down after a while. I don't know. It's Is it my internet connection? Is it just theirs being like we don't want you to play like 4K all the time? But it felt weird going from like 4K and 720 and going back and forth, feeling fuzzy.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was interesting.
My
I liked it.
My only issue with the Stadia thing was that I could not stream while I was playing Stadia because Stadia was like, your connection is too slow. But then once I turned off the stream, it let me play the game. So
I had
it's
that
kind of
same
an
issue.
interesting predicament, I guess.
What do you guys think of the weapons? Is there a weapon
Oh,
feel balanced or not, or is it shotgun the way to go?
shotgun's definitely the way to go because you're definitely getting close to people. But I thought all the weapons were cool, right? There's an AK, there's an M4, there's a rocket launcher, a pistol, an SMG, a shotgun. Like, wow, that's a lot of guns to have in this game. Especially when you first see it, you don't think there would be that much depth. But I was impressed, especially because me and Maddock absolutely sucked at the trick attack. So the battle mode was definitely up my alley, and I thought it was super fun. Of like, you combine doing some tricks to get cash, then you can buy a better weapon, and then you can kill people to steal their cash. And at one point, like if you started off right away, got a shotgun at 5 Gs and went off and killed other people, you could have stacks of cash in your pocket to buy any gun you saw, which I really, really liked. I loved the battle mode the most, of course, because I was so bad at the tricks, but I was impressed with all the weapons. I liked the shotgun the most, but I also got RPG'd a couple of times from these jabronis around me that didn't make me too happy.
Yeah, it was really fun having one of the developers in there with us. We got a little background information on the game, like some artist type stuff. So really cool. Any other comments for Wave Break?
I think just taking the weapons out of it and focusing on the trick mode, which was obviously my favorite. I feel like I was doing pretty good at the trick mode and awful at the deathmatch mode. The game plays like a Tony Hawk game. It's tight, you know. Literally it just feels tight like a Tony Hawk game does, where every button press is just so committed to what that button is supposed to do. I guess it's hard for me to phrase that, but like you go off a jump a certain direction, that's the direction you're going, and the margin for error, I guess, is what I'm getting at, is so low. You know what I mean? You go up a half pipe and you bust a grab in a kick flip, you come down, you bust the manual, and you have to put those commands in the correct way or the combo ends. And I think that's what I'm getting at, is that margin for error is so small, like a Tony Hawk game, and it just makes the gameplay feel really tight, if that makes any sense.
Oh, for sure. I really want these on consoles. This is the type of game I'd probably hunt for achievements or hunt for trophies for. So I'm hoping it comes to consoles pretty soon.
Yeah, the campaign, which we haven't really touched on, it's a Tony Hawk campaign. You get a set time limit, 2 minutes, to go around a level and do a list of challenges. It's going to be a trophy hunter's dream for sure.
Yeah, and I really liked the tricks too. I thought all the kick flips were unique. I thought all the grabs were unique. There's manuals that you can do, and they look so cool. Like on a skateboard with Tony Hawk, you kind of know what a grind and what the grabs would look like. But when you're on a jet ski, a kayak, the dual hauler, big cruise boat, like it looks cool when he's grabbing off the side of it, or if he's doing a nose grind and he's on the front of it, like surfing it like a surfboard. I thought it looked really, really cool, especially with the boat themes that we had.
Yeah, love it. Maddock, what have you been up to this week?
Oh, I announced a little thing called the first annual Snowbike Mike and Friends Golf with Your Friends Championship or something with one Kevin Asex.
I was there.
It was
It was crazy.
yeah, he was there. We took over Snowbike Mike's stream. We copy and pasted his stream code straight from the chat.
It was pretty easy, you know.
Yeah, and we took over and did a little announcing. We had a community game, 2 community games, and then the final showdown between the big dogs, Mike and Flurple. Flurple ended up coming out on top, but it was down to the wire, down to the 17th hole, I believe.
Oh, it really was.
It was a really great time announcing that, and it was definitely easier to announce just the Flurple Mike match because it's a little bit more under control. But I had a really great time with Kevin, just popping into the chat, seeing what they were talking about, and then like popping back over, telling everyone that it was sponsored by different things, and then just giving it the same Gatorade tagline.
Gatorade. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
I like when we kept popping in and seeing their reactions, because Mike was just like kind of like freaking out sometimes when we pop into him. or like he's trying to figure out the precise way to get the hole in one. And when we pop in with Flurple, he's like, "Hey, what's up, you guys? How's it going? I'm doing pretty good. He's just really relaxed. He was so confident. I was like, man, this guy's gonna win. I know for sure. He doesn't even care if he loses, but he's gonna win something." Which was awesome.
It was a great time, of course. First off, thank you to both Maddock and Kevin Asex for giving me their time and attention to detail to not only host it, commentate it, but run the whole show. And on the flip side, thank you to everybody out there that's listening to the podcast right now that participated. Of course, congratulations to Peter Mack and Price 4112 who won both those community events. We had some fun. I think really the baseline of the story is golf with your friends is an awesome multiplayer game. On Xbox Game Pass is where we mainly play it. I know it's on PC as well and probably PS4, but man, oh man, what a great time that is. Just mini putt-putt golf, multiple courses, multiple different game modes, up to 12 people in a lobby. It's on Game Pass, which is a total win for us being so Xbox heavy, a lot of us. Wow, what a great time. And for us to make our own little tournament, me and Flurple have our grudge match. It made for an awesome Friday night live stream. And I hope everybody enjoyed it because I know I did. And like they said, it did come down to the final hole. I was up by one. I thought, let's risk it. Let's go big right there. Unfortunately, a hole in one turned into a 3, and Flurple just took control there on the 18th, and it was over for me.
Maddock, was that your first time commentating anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a good time.
How did it feel?
It was fun.
Was it
felt good,
Were you like nervous at first, anything like that? You just felt confident. You're like, I can do this.
I mean, I think during the community one, you're like, what do we talk about? Because there's like 8 people going at the same time. Everything's exploding. We were kind of just reading chat, which is like fine. And then like it was easier to just be like talking about like, oh, this is a par 1 or this is a par 3, but it's easily doable in 1 and all that kind of stuff with the one-on-one scenario. And like definitely was more of a commentating experience instead of just like taking over Snowback Mike's chat and chatting with the people.
Yeah, the one-on-one.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Well, you and Kevin did great. I assume Mike is writing out your checks right now, so look for those soon.
Yeah.
Washburn, what have you been up to, Washburn?
So this week I actually had a wedding, a family wedding to attend. This has been planned since last year, and due to COVID, it was supposed to take place in June, kept getting pushed back, and eventually, my sister said, I'm just going to do it. So what we did, the church it was weird, man. I'm going to be honest. Being at a wedding, everybody's wearing a mask. Everybody's 6 feet away from each other. Everybody gets their temperature checked before you go in. Same thing at the reception. Everybody's wearing a mask. Everybody's socially distanced. It was not, like any wedding I've ever been to, obviously. And it was all right. It was good to see family, even though everybody had that, thought in the back of their heads about the virus and wearing their masks, and that sort of brought it down. But I had fun. Yeah, and I got back in time to catch the very end of Mike getting beat by Flurple on hole 17 on Friday night. Other than that, this week, man, just watching Parks and Rec, man. I started the Parks and Rec rewatch again for like the 80th time. I think after playing Last of Us 2 and just sort of giving up on that because I can't handle the horror elements, I had to go to my happy place. And that's just Parks and Rec. So a lot of Parks and Rec, a lot of trying to get outside every day, and then just a lot of gaming at night.
When you rewatch Parks and Rec, do you ever skip the first season? That's usually what I do when I rewatch it. I always skip the first one for some reason. Decision.
A lot of the time with shows like Parks and Rec and The Office, it's background noise. So much of it's just background noise, and I'll be like 4 episodes later, and I'll be like, oh no, I missed this like great character arc or episode that I love so much because I just wasn't paying attention. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. My favorite episode of that show is probably most people's favorite episode is when Leslie and Anne get into the fight at that bar and everybody's drinking the snake juice. And like during this rewatch, I had just totally like glossed over that episode, and I like had to go back and watch 3 episodes that I missed because again, it's just background noise. It's like turning on The Office or any of those sitcoms where it's just you've seen it so much, you know what's going to happen, so you're on your phone checking Twitter and not paying any attention.
Yeah, that's the way I am with that show. Background
Mhm.
noise, and then also like The League. I'll watch that for background noise, stuff like that.
Yeah, The League is one of those shows for me too. But like, no, I don't skip the first seasons, even if they're lower in quality. And The League is the same way. Like all of those shows, their first seasons can be a little rough, but
hmm
by the time they get to season 2, it really picks up. For me, Parks and Rec doesn't really pick up till Andy and April get married, which is like halfway through season 2. So yeah, a lot of that before then is just sort of like whatever, background noise.
One of my favorite episodes is the first time we meet John Ralphio, and he's
Oh
trying
my
to be
God.
Ron's assistant. Hilarious, absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, him and Jenny Slate are just the best.
Yeah.
Like when Tom dates his sister, it's just like there's so much comedy there.
It's the same in like every show. It's actually incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Kevin, what have you been up to, man?
Me, my Bone Jangles. I've been doing a lot of things lately, dude. I've been going to Paris, Mexico, Japan. No, I haven't been doing much. The big thing I've been doing was I was trying to get this podcast on podcast services around the globe. And guess what? We did it. It's all over the place. Got it on.
Do you have an exact list of what it's on?
Yeah. Let me check. Double check. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on Google Podcasts. It's on Pocket Cast. It's on Spotify. It's on, I don't know what these other ones are, Radio Public and Breaker. I don't know what that is, but the more the merrier. We got on everything now, so I'm happy about that. Oh, it's also on SoundCloud. So we got on pretty much the big boy ones. I don't think there's any other places we wanted it in unless people ask for it. I'll put it on there, but yeah, I got it on everything now. Almost everything.
Nice. Putting in the work. I assume Mike's writing up your check for that as well.
I mean,
Writing up a check. I'm writing it up.
I don't see him writing anything. What's going on over there, Mike? Where's the pen and pencil and the check? Come on. Yeah, that's all I've been doing lately. That and just a little bit of Ring Fit Adventure, but that's been kicking my butt lately. So,
Did you pay retail price, or did you get one marked up?
No retail price. I was lucky enough to see Wario64 posted up a link saying it was available, so I just bought it then and got it at what is it, $80? I think.
Yeah, I think it's 80. Yeah.
So for those of you who have Ring Fit, my question is, I live on a 3rd floor apartment. Are there a lot of activities in Ring Fit that would upset my downstairs neighbor?
You can set it to quiet mode where like you don't have to move around too much like crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably more like resistance training type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The baseline of it is you are constantly jogging in place.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
yeah, if you didn't put it on quiet mode, you are definitely going to have a problem because the goal is to have you jogging, stepping, and you can even go faster to make him or her go faster in the game. So you would have some issues if you didn't turn that mode on.
Right.
You have it too, Mike?
I do have Ring Fit Adventure. I bought it at launch. It took me some time to bust it out. I did about 5 days straight of it, and then I have just completely put it to the wayside.
Oh man, where those streams been?
It's like one of those. I was thinking about it, then I was like, you know what? I don't really care, whatever. So maybe one day I'll jump back into it. I think it's very interesting. You guys have always heard me talk about how much I loved the Connect phase back in the day. I love that we can make video games and actual activity and play through the Connect, and especially with the power of Switch, right? The Switch has always been the goal of like, let's get you standing up, let's get you doing something, from Mario Tennis to back in the Wii days. So I think a big one here is Ring Fit Adventure truly gamifies play, right? It makes you stand up, get up, start exercising, and you could do it with the whole family. You could do it by yourself, really try to work up a sweat there. I think it's a perfect way to get kids up and exercising. I think it's a great way for adults, like Kevin just said, to like get up and try to get your motor running. And if you're driven by video games, especially like I am, I think this is a great way to gamify exercising and play, this is the way to do it.
It's crazy how nobody was really talking about it when it came out, and then COVID hit, and then
Went off the
sold out
shelves.
everywhere.
Yeah.
People selling them on eBay for $100+ markup. Crazy.
It's crazy because when it first came out, I would go to Best Buy and I would see like a bunch of them on the shelves. I was like,
Yeah, they were
damn.
there all the time.
I was like, it's not selling that great, huh? Yeah, and then when COVID hit, everywhere sold out. It was like, holy moly! I should have gone on one a long time ago, but it is what it is, you know. I got it. I luckily got it at retail price, so I'm good.
Yeah, I'm curious on how many people bought it and don't really use it.
I want that 10 a.m. Snowbike Mike stream where he just streams Ring Fit Adventure for all of us.
You gotta do it.
I'd love to do it. I got the Sky Cam now. I technically could do it. I have a little bit more room. It definitely requires some space, which is very cool, and it's a fun time. You know what, Matt? I'll think about it.
Mike, I was
haven't
thinking
woke
about
up before noon in like 90 days, so let's not push it there.
I'm aware.
I was thinking for your other camera, you could put it behind you in the top corner, so people could see your studio. Maybe
That's what
Maybe you're
Jangle,
setting-
how did you read my mind, bro? I was thinking that too. I just need a super long USB cord to get it all the way
Oh,
up.
yeah,
I
yeah,
like
true.
that. That's right.
How do you have the
True.
other one on up top? Is that super?
The other one
long?
has it has an extension USB to USB to plug into the laptop. Is right.
Damn. Just USB cord going all over the place. It's awesome.
Bone Jangles, I'll let you bring up what you've been playing since we've gone around the horn, but I do have one more that I do want to talk about before we end the segment.
Hit it.
Oh, you okay with me?
Yeah,
So this weekend we had the open beta for the latest Ubisoft Battle Royale game that we're just going to touch on and give our quick first impressions. We will do our deep dive later, but of course we're going to try to strike while the iron's hot, bring in those views and talk about the content. And that has been Hyper Scape that just dropped this weekend, getting codes via Twitch streamers that are partnered. You know, it's one of those very similar to Valorant. You watch somebody stream, eventually you'll earn the code. But we were able to get some codes. A fair amount of us, I think all 4 out of 5 of us were able to get this besides Bone Jangles. I know Washburn will talk about his workaround, but I do want to touch on Hyper Scape since we do have the captive audience. It is the weekend of the open beta. Give our first impressions. And for me, I'm kind of impressed by it. I'm impressed. I have a little 50-50. I'm on the fence still of, will this take down one of the big 3? My heart and my mind says no. But on the flip side, man, I had a good time this weekend. We still have 2 full more days to keep playing it, but I am having a good time with Hyper Scape. I like the different variations it's bringing into the Battle Royale genre, and I really want to talk about it with the team for just a little bit on our first impressions. I know me, Maddock, Washburn have really gone into it. Kevin's played a couple games. Bone Jangles hasn't been able to get a code. So I do want to break that down with you guys for just a little bit here.
Yeah, I think so for me, I didn't get a Twitch code, but what I did do is I just logged into my Uplay on my desktop, and there was a banner, and it said Hyperscape. Click here to join the tech test, and so I clicked it, and I downloaded it, and I started playing. I don't know if that's the case for everybody, but that was the case for me, and I never got a Twitch code. I'll talk about this, at the end of the show, but I've been watching this new streamer named Thor on Twitch who's been streaming it, pretty much all week and trying to get that code. And eventually I just logged into Uplay and downloaded it without having a code. So that was something. The game itself is cranked up to 11 plus. It is as if somebody was sitting in a room saying, how do I make the fastest, most crazy battle royale out there? How do we take the movement of Apex and the chaos of total mayhem in the Overwatch map or match and just put that all into a battle royale? Like when you get to the end game, it feels like Unreal Tournament almost to me. I know me, Mike, and Kevin, we were in a top 3 situation once, and it just lasted forever and ever and ever because when you die, all you have to do is go to where someone else has died, have one of your teammates run over, they can res you, right? So the way you win those matches is you wear a crown for a certain amount of time. But our match sort of devolved into people just killing each other over and over and over again, and it was total mayhem. And I had a lot of fun with it. I like you said, Mike, I don't know if it has that staying power to be able to take down the big three. And I've said this on a previous episode somewhere, but until Halo comes out with a battle royale, I just don't think any new battle royale is going to have that sort of staying power, because this is a new IP. It's something totally original and something that people don't know, versus, a Titanfall or a Call of Duty or a Fortnite, which was sort of the first one to really, really blow up.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I think it's a different vibe as well. Like you touched on with the revive mechanic is very interesting. Of like it's teams of 3. There's about 99 people, so there's like 33 squads in the map. The map is pretty big. It's very unique. It has a different kind of closing circle, which we'll touch on. But I do want to look at the revive mechanic, like Washburn brought up, of like when you die, you turn into like a pixelated ghost form of yourself that nobody else can see on the map when you're playing if you're still alive, but you as a ghost can run to a revive spot, which is brought to you by somebody else dying, right? It's not your death area. You have to go find somebody else's death area, which is kind of fun. Of like, if somebody goes down early, do we run all the way across the map to where somebody else died? Or do maybe we trust in our teammate to have Washburn and Maddock kill one of the opponent team members and I can get a quick respawn there? But it is interesting of like, there is no buyback system. There's no gulag. It's don't recover somebody's banner like Apex. It is simply find somewhere that we can revive you on one of these pallet or on one of these, like this area, and we'll come revive you, which I kind of like that. It definitely makes for a fun mechanic of like, do you pull back? Do you keep pushing and kill the other team so we can revive on them? Or do we just start running? And of course, us being so early into the game, it became, hey, run for your life. Let's go 500 meters to the left over there.
How do the guns work?
With that revive mechanic, I would say that it does end up that you end up being, if you just try and run for it and go somewhere else, usually there's another team because they just killed the other guy. So you're going from one hot situation to the other, which is interesting as well.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And then the gun mechanic, like Boney just brought up, is very interesting, right? It is a set of guns that you can grab, but instead of attachments, instead of, what we'll call the normal, like white, green, purple, whatever you want to call that scale, right? Now it's, hey, there's a set amount of guns on this, and each one has its own name, its own play style. But for you to upgrade it, instead of grabbing attachments or finding a higher leveled one, you actually upgrade it through finding replicates of its own. So if you have a shotgun in your hand and you find another shotgun on the map, you grab it and you upgrade it to the level 2 shotgun, and so forth until you max it out at, I believe, level 5 or 6. But you just continue to look for the same duplicates of your weapon over and over again to continue to max it out on, ammo capacity, damage, probably range as well, a certain number of factors, which is really cool. Of like me, Washburn, Bone, and Kevin would be like, what are you running right now? And I'd be like, I'm running the, assault rifle shotgun. Tell me if you see any of those. Or Washburn would be like, hey, I'm running the Skybreaker, which is like a big grenade fusion launcher, whatever you want to call it. Ping that for me. And so you'd grab them. And I love that it's a quick grab, right? It's not hold down and sit there. It's like grab it, upgrade it. It's already gone. You're moving, which is really cool on that.
It works the same way for the abilities as well.
Yeah.
So touch on that.
Yeah, touch on the abilities.
Yeah, so there's it's kind of like in Apex, or I guess maybe Overwatch, where you have like certain abilities, like you can set up a wall, you can turn into a ball, you can teleport, you can do a slam move, and you have 2 of the abilities at any time, and you can swap them out as you go, or you can upgrade them just like you do with the gun system, and they get more powerful, or the cooldown time is usually the more important one that will tick down a little bit faster. So you'll be able to set up a wall, and then like the cooldown time will take 5 seconds off the thing on the level 2, and same thing with armor and healing. So those are some of the variety of perks that they have going on at this time. It feels like you need like 1 armor or health, 1 perk running, and then maybe like teleport or slam or something that makes you be able to go a little bit further, a little bit faster, in my experience so far.
Yeah, my favorite so far has been invisibility and shield. I like the
Mhm.
invisibility for the disengage to get out of there and hide in a corner or like run away. Because I found a lot of these kids are much better than me, and I got to give Ubisoft credit. They had controller support right off the bat just for this opening weekend, right? Very aim assist is probably 0 right there, so it's very tough to keep up with kids on the mouse and keyboard. But I loved being able to, if the team died, immediately go invisible, start running the opposite way to get me some area, or on the flip side, if I wanted to be offensive, go invisible and try to creep around somebody, shotgun them in the back. And I like the abilities personally. I think for me, this is how I want abilities to be used. I don't want to be tied to one character like Apex with those abilities. I'd rather, hey, you're generic soldier 46, and now you can grab whatever abilities you like. I absolutely love the ability idea here in this game right now.
I think it's extremely accessible in terms of its mechanics. It's not nearly as accessible in terms of its gameplay. Would y'all agree with that? We were getting stomped. I mean, just absolutely run on most of the matches we played in squads. And maybe Kevin can speak to his experience in solos because I think there is a solos mode. But one ammo type,
Love that.
upgrading your weapons is as simple as finding another one. Upgrading your abilities is as simple as finding another one. And these are all things that I hate to learn in a new BR. And I think that's why I'm a little bit high on it right now, is because I was able to go in, understand the mechanics like after 1 or 2 matches, and then really focus on the gameplay elements of it, which is just extremely vertical, very unique guns that all do pretty much completely different things, and trying to figure out the movement systems and the slide and these events that certain Twitch chats can vote on, and things of that nature. So I'm pretty high on it. I hope that it does have some sort of staying power. But yeah, I've only played squads. I know Kevin played solos, and that might be a totally different story.
Kevin, how was solos?
Maddox said there was a solos game. I didn't do that one though. I just dropped in the trios, but without filling in the squad,
Mm.
and that was not fun.
Yeah, I imagine that would be tough.
Yeah, and then I tried to do it with randoms, but I can't really communicate with them, so that was tough too. So I kind of just gave up after a while, and I was like, I'm not gonna play until I get a squad because it's I need coordination. I needed to know what everyone has and this and that. So it was tough.
Yeah, and there is a ping system. It's not
Ping
great.
system.
It's sort of like war zones. You point your cursor at something and you press the button and your guy highlights a object or weapon on the map. Sort of like any ping system. It's tied to, on a controller, it's tied to the right stick. Kevin played on keyboard and mouse, and I think he was saying it was on the middle button. You press the middle button down. Yeah.
The scroll button.
Yeah, which I tried to play on keyboard and mouse, but I'm just absolute trash. So I went to controller.
The two things that I just wanted to touch on were like how fast paced the movement is.
Mhm.
Like in the alternate universe where they didn't make Apex Legends, they made Titanfall BR. This would be 100% what it would feel like. The only thing it's missing is wall running. If there was wall running in this game, it would be Titanfall without the Titans, which is interesting. The gunplay is not nearly as good as Titanfall, Apex, Call of Duty, any of those, in my opinion. It just doesn't feel as crispy. Seems like most people are just using the Gatling gun, which is kind of like not that exciting to me. There's a lot of explosive weapons as well. And then the Twitch integration is actually like insane. So I think it's just like for certain areas on the map. So one Twitch chat will probably be voting on it essentially if like a bunch of people are streaming, or it will just be randomized and you can vote for like a triple jump event or a low gravity event, or health is just dropped all over the map, or cooldown timers on powers are dropped all over the map. And that's definitely the coolest Twitch integration I've seen, that like the chat wants to like click and vote on which the next one is going to be, which is pretty interesting. And then to just touch on the solos mode real quick, it's like the regular mode except foggy, and it's orange fog, and you can see like one building roof over, and I guess they did that so that it's not just like some weird sniper camp fest or something. But it's hard to track people down, that's for sure.
Mhm.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head right there. The Twitch integration is very cool, and that will be something that leads into lasting and staying power, right? Me as a viewer watching Maddock or Washburn or Kevin, the big time streamers, I like being involved in the game, right? Being able to vote on these events, even though they might be super small and maybe insignificant to some, I think that's really cool, and that will help the staying power and the lasting power because a lot of people will want to tune in. You're going to get the audience involved. You're going to get them excited and thinking to themselves, wow, this is really cool. Like maybe I should try this game because of this. So I like that a lot. I think that's a pretty fun mechanic. I also like the map, right? I touched on the map at the beginning. The map is very interesting of it's a big square essentially, but everybody instead of a plane, they like split us all up into 4 different corners and everybody drops from different corners in larger groups. And I thought that was really cool as well. There's points of interest and then mini points of interest, which I love seeing the map super lit up. I like the big points of interest, but then the smaller on the side. I think that's a great way to really bring some fun into it, bring some different levels of like, oh, let's go here, but we're going to go to this sector of it, which I love. I think that's really awesome. And the zone is very different as well. It's very similar to Darwin Project, a little similar to Ring of Elysium, where you start to break down zones and instead of a circle coming in, instead of a big lightning storm, the whole world in that zone just starts to disintegrate and become nothing to just the base layer where you need to get out. You do take damage over time sitting in there, but it is pretty cool to see like the whole world, especially with how vertical this is, just start to disintegrate and fall down into just the base where it would be essentially wide open and you're running on a flat surface trying to get into a new zone. I thought that was really cool and a different idea in the battle royale space that we see currently.
Mhm.
It's of levolution, you know what I'm saying?
Levolution, my favorite word. You know that.
Yeah, rumors are it's coming out pretty soon. What do you guys think? Do you think they'll do a console tech test first?
There's
No.
I hope they do because I mean, going on computer and playing with the controller, there is no aim assist. And so when you bring that over to console, people who primarily play on consoles, that's not going to be a great reception. I think if they just bring it over with no aim assist at all. So I would think they do want to put that out there, have people try it, maybe tweak and make some adjustments if the reception's not extremely hot on that side.
be interesting. I mean, we do have the we have the
I've-
Ubisoft event coming up this week too, so it will be
Mhm.
very interesting to see if they bring. I mean, of course, they have to bring this up now. Kind of came out of the blue, and now it's here. So release date, maybe. You know, console tech test. I personally don't think they will. I think your tech test is here, and then we just go with the release. It reminds me,
a
and
server test mostly, really.
yeah, it reminds me. I'm sure people might rip me apart, but like this reminds me of somebody that's not the best first person shooter. It reminds me of like a Doom or a Unreal Tournament where like it is, it's not really helping you. It will punish you if you can't get that right on the money. And yeah, I think console players need a little bit of an aim assist for sure. But it reminds me of those days where I would play that and you would be swinging your thumb around, the whole thing was flying sideways, you know, with how fast it was going.
Mhm. Yeah, I'd say if there's one takeaway from it for me, it's that there's some obvious Unreal Tournament inspiration there, especially in the end game. You know, the middle game and early game, we were sort of looting, trying to fuse our weapons and abilities up as much as we can, get into a fight here or there. But I know once me, Mike, and Kevin got into that end game, it was like playing a completely different game almost. It was just absolute mayhem, and I had a lot of fun in that little 5-minute, 10-minute stretch there in that end game.
Yeah, that was super dope. Of course, more to come. Just the alpha test that we played this weekend. We'll play some more until the 7th, and then we'll go from there. We'll see what happens here with this BR. Can't wait to definitely touch on it and do the deep dive with everybody on it.
Oh, for sure.
Do you have any other thoughts on that? I feel like you didn't say a lot.
Cool.
Okay.
Who?
You,
Kevin.
Kevin.
Oh, you cut out. I didn't hear what he said at first.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was saying, did you have any other thoughts on that? You only said a little bit.
The game sucks, dude. Animal Royale forever.
Yeah, more royale forever. Got it.
That's all right. I like it.
So this week I actually finished The Last of Us Part 2. Finally took me about 25 hours. I know people here haven't finished it yet, so I won't go too much into it, but if you were spoiled on this game and it made you not want to play it, but you were interested before that, I would say 100% play it. Out of context, I went back and saw the spoilers after I finished it. So I got an idea of what everybody got spoiled on. Out of context, you definitely need to play this. If you were interested in playing it, go play it. Fantastic game. Set pieces are amazing. The cutscenes are amazing, and I really did like the story. But yeah, I highly suggest you guys go play it. I'm heavy back into Apex now that we tried it out last week. I'm starting to prefer Apex more than Warzone, just because I like the abilities, I like the characters. The movement is way better. That's why I'm a little interested in Hyper Scape, because I love the movement of it. It looks so cool. I'm also on the MCU rewatch. Just finished Age of Ultron, so I think that kicks off phase 3 after Age of Ultron. Been a blast going back through these movies. I've seen all of them multiple times already. I've watched them all in theaters. When Kind of Funny did their rewatch, I watched them all. I probably rewatch them at least once a year. So looking forward to getting through all that. And now I'm just waiting for the next big thing. We got Ghost of Tsushima coming up, and I think Paper Mario was on the same day. So I'll probably be playing a lot of Apex, Warzone before those come out. I also dive back into Overwatch and a little bit of Rocket League as well. So I've been all over the place. I play like a few matches here and there, so I'm not into them too heavy. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing this week. Let's see, what do we got next? Game of the week, guys. Our point of interest, PUBG. That
Want
was
to talk
our.
about the Warzone midseason with Juggernaut Royale. We've been playing that.
Oh yeah,
Or
yeah.
do we want to skip over that?
You could talk
What are
about
you
it.
feeling?
What do you got for me, Maddock, for Warzone?
Oh, I just watched a little of them playing the Juggernaut Royale, and it was just ridiculous.
Mike, you seem to love it. What do you got?
I
What
love
do you
it.
want to say
I
about it?
think it. I think it's dumb fun in the war zone for sure. This is much better than realism mode, 100%. This made for a fun weekend in the war zone, and these are the kind of events that I want to see to take a little bit of competitive edge off of it, make it a little bit more fun and zany. And this is the right move, right? Because when you drop in, there are 3 points of interest with the Juggernaut suit ready to drop, and it is the whole server dropping at these 3 different points, absolutely shooting each other with just pistols. If you're smart enough, you'll run away, grab a good gun, and come back. And it's just a brawl over the one box for the Juggernaut suit. And Kevin can contest, right? The moment you get the Juggernaut suit, you have a minigun turret with 200 bullets in it, infinite ammo. You actually regain health every time you kill a player out in the war zone. And you have this sick iPod that's right on your chest, and it's just blaring death metal music. And it makes for this fun situation of if you don't get the Juggernaut suit, everybody starts running. If you get it, you just start shooting fish in a barrel left and right. And it is dumb fun, a great addition. And me and Kevin even got to share a win together where we both had Juggernaut suits on. And it was one kid just praying for his life, and he knew he wasn't going to win.
That kid knew he was dead from the point he saw 2 juggernauts coming at him. So that was awesome.
Top 10 clip right there.
Yeah. Kevin, what'd you think of it?
It was fun. I liked it. I really wanted to try out everyone in the whole squad having a juggernaut suit and see how that plays out. Because we're kind of when you're in the juggernaut suit, you're all kind of at a disadvantage. Because yeah, you're using that minigun, but it's really slow to like kind of turn it on because it does have to spin around first and then shoots. So I wonder what would happen if like there's a squad coming up on us. Can they take out all 3 juggernauts? Because our aim's not that great too. Because it's kind of hip fiery. So uh, I'm curious if that's a disadvantage or an advantage being in the war zone with 3 juggernauts. But yeah, it was a fun time. We got that duo juggernaut win, and I can't wait to see what else we got for us.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, when you are in the Juggernaut suit, you show up on the map no matter where you are. So every team knows where you are and to avoid you or to push you over there. You could tell Juggernauts were getting in cars. People were chasing us down with the Juggernaut inside of a car at one point. The health regen is a very interesting mechanic because, yeah, you are the point of interest on the whole entire server. So you're going to take a lot of shots. And I like the idea of if you kill someone, you get to regen some health back. It's not a giant, massive bar of health, but at least like it feels, oh man, I'm not at 10% and this is my last ditch effort. It's like, oh, if I kill this kid, I'm going to get back into it. You know what I mean? I thought that was really cool. Very nice. As the Juggernaut, you can pick up cash. You can't pick up shields. You can't really buy anything, or you can buy stuff, but like you can't pick up guns for when you're out of it. Once you go into the suit, you're committed to the suit. And if you die, you're out of the suit and you go into the gulag. So it's a pretty cool mechanic. I loved the idea that they didn't. It was a fun weekend with this.
So when you kill the Juggernaut, do you become the Juggernaut? Is that how
Negative.
it works?
That
No?
suit's just off the map. There's like a total of 4 to 5 suits total. I think it goes 3 at the beginning, 1 towards the early mid game, and then 1 at the late game. So you'll only see 5. I want to say 6 as well, maybe, but it's very minimal amount of suits here. And no, you don't take over right after that. It's gone, and you just keep moving.
The only other thing about the mid-season thing that I wanted to see if anyone had any opinions on is if we felt like the 200-player Warzone changed anything.
I think our... Go ahead, Kevin.
I was like, I don't think that... I didn't see a difference between that with the 200-player Warzone, because it felt like a normal Warzone game, so I'm fine if they keep it as 200 players, so... We got
if anything, our kill numbers went up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And that's not me, bragging. You're saying that we're good or anything. Like,
I'm bragging.
I have noticed that like this weekend we've been coming out of matches with 7 to 8 kills apiece a lot of the time, and I think that's probably a result of adding those 50 players. I just wish they'd leave quads alone, man. Just like why does quads have to be the mode that you experiment with?
Maybe the
making it realistic, adding 50 players.
Juggernauts trios.
But they're still regular trios.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's like quads is always that mode that they're trying something new with. You know what I mean? And that just confuses me. But other than that, it's fine.
Yeah, I guess it didn't. I thought it was gonna make a bigger difference than it did. I guess in the end, you're just gonna run into more people and kill a few more people before you get to the final.
Yep.
How are we feeling about the snipers in the gulag?
Love it, dude.
I love it.
Amazing,
I love
dude.
it. It's hilarious.
The best, dude. If you're the best at the best, this is no problem for you, dude. If you're just down all the time, complaining that, oh, I want my machine guns back, this and that. Oh, you just suck at the game. Like, what do you think of it? I don't know.
I think that might be a jab at me, squad, and viewers out there. I think that might be a jab at me. I will say my win percentage in the gulag has drastically taken a dip due to the snipers, but it is dumb fun in the gulag because it's either you get a K9, which is single shot, you get the AX50, which has way too big of a scope inside of a 20 by 20 shower. So it's a pretty fun situation. And yeah, it leads to a lot of fisticuff fights. It leads to a lot of throwing knife kills. It leads to a lot of beatdowns. It's actually led to me capturing more flag points than usual, right? Because of the single shot nature. If I get on the flag point and you look at me and I'm able to dodge that bullet, it's over because you're going to still have to reload and I'm going to capture that flag. So I've taken a dip in wins, but I have a smile on my face and we're doing dumb stuff for sure.
Yeah, for me, it's just less sweaty in the gulag. You know what I mean? I'm not trying as hard because with these snipers, I know so much of it is down to luck. Who peaks first is sort of the thing. So for me, I've just been flying in the gulag, just running as fast as I can, trying to make the other dude miss because I'm moving so fast. And surprisingly, a lot of the times that works, and I'm able to close in on somebody and beat them down or just get them with a throwing knife. I've come out of the gulag laughing a whole lot more than I was when it was just ARs and it was just like it was try hard gulags every single time. So I love the change.
Yeah,
Warzone is king.
True question is what's next? We've seen pistols and shotguns. We've seen assault rifles and SMGs. We've now seen the snipers with like a marksmanship rifle. What is next in the gulag.
Riot shields.
Rocket launchers. Make it happen.
Riot shields and rocket launchers.
Throwables only.
Yeah.
Almost only would be interesting.
People up in the balconies can only kill. Whoever they kill first gets to come back.
Oh yeah, rocks.
Yeah. What else did they add them in season? I kind of deleted what I was going to talk about. They added the new sniper. What was it called?
Yeah,
that's right.
but I feel like barely any of us have used it, and there hasn't been any result in terms of anything exciting with it.
Do you
They
have to
nerfed
unlock
the
it?
thing. Yeah, you do.
Mm.
You have to unlock it by what is it?
Yeah.
Quick scopes with the
3
marksman
quick
or
scopes and 15 separate games in the regular multiplayer mode,
Mm.
which is kind of awful.
They quote unquote nerfed the Growl.
But it didn't change anything.
Yeah. Quote
Mike, how
unquote
do
is right.
you-
No way.
Nerfed.
You still feeling good about the Growl?
I still feel like I'm totally viable and in the game all of the time. I will say you can definitely tell there was a noticeable difference of, I believe, really just damage from distance, right? Like I can still shoot you from far away. It's just not as fast as a turnaround into a downer and a kill like it used to be. But I still feel confident as all can be. I mean, close to mid range, fine. Long range still hits you. Might be a little bit less damage than it used to do, but I still feel totally viable. The recoil is not that bad at all. So there's no need for me personally, as somebody that's really attached themselves to the Growl, to say, oh man, I got an issue. I need to go over to the M4, the M13. Not at all. I think if you've been rocking the Growl, you're totally fine. Continue to rock it. You're still viable in the war zone.
Yeah, I switched up to the M4 about a week and a half ago and just sort of never looked back. So I've got no comment on the Growl nerf. They also added a few new guns on the ground as well, right? A couple
There's a
thermal
few more
ARs.
blueprints, I think.
Thermal ARs, a new SMG.
the
I
new
think
sniper is in the ground too, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
the Fennec is
I used
somewhere
it for
out
like
there.
10 minutes and then gave up on it.
Yeah,
They
The Fennec's still pretty good though.
yeah. Everything about Warzone is good.
actually nerfed something else, and I think Mike might have noticed because I think he switched to it. I don't know if he switched back. It's the MP5. Mike, did you switch to the MP7 afterwards because you felt something different about it, or what's up with that?
So the MP5 is still viable close to mid range. It's definitely noticeable of a, I would say maybe distance. It's similar to the Growl, right? The MP5 was looked at as all of a sudden you could start shooting people from like a mid to long range scenario with that MP5 and actually do damage and kill people. Right now, it does not feel like that distance is still viable. So now it's been kind of pulled back. It feels like more of an SMG where, yes, this is close to a little extended into the mid range, but not like it used to be where if you were 100 yards over there, I could pull out the MP5 and still shoot you down. So I've switched over to the MP7, and that's simply because I notice when I drop into the war zone with the squad, the one gun that I want in my hands over any assault rifle, any shotgun, any sniper, any marksmanship rifle is that MP7, whether it be gray, green, or the Harpy, which is blue edition with the red dot on top. I feel most comfortable with that. And I mean, if we drop in and I get that gun over a Bison, over anything, I feel like I could conquer. And so it's like, if I feel that confident with the ground MP7s, why am I not using a nice custom MP7 that could elevate my gameplay? So over the week, I've been trying when we get our loadout drops to get that second weapon as the MP7. You know, how much have I used it? Not that much. The Growl and I are still getting it done, but I am weaning off the MP5 as my secondary loadout, but I haven't had enough interactions where I'm using the MP7 during that late game push.
I love how you said, "Oh, it feels like an SMG now." Like that's how it's supposed to feel like.
Oh yeah, exactly. That was the issue, right? It's like the MP5. Truly, if you were mid range with the MP5, all of a sudden you're busting heads, and I don't think that's what it's supposed to do. You know, it's not like you're not shooting an MP7 from 100 yards away across the street. That's not really the viable move there.
I feel like I could
But
do that though. That's the thing.
Kevin, you're 4.5 KD. Okay, we know you can do anything.
No,
I'm just saying, like you shouldn't be doing that though. I think that's the main goal. You shouldn't.
I was gonna say I feel like that with the MP7, but with the MP5, I can't do that with it even before the nerf. So that's why I was like, I'm surprised they nerfed that and not the MP7. So it was interesting. I guess I don't know. I guess we're good with different weapons too. So
That is true. Everybody's gonna be different. I do want to bring up, if we're talking about mid-season changes, we got to give some credit to whoever's running the store, because those two latest holiday 4th of July packs are absolutely fire.
Oh my
I mean,
god, yeah.
take my money. Here's my wallet. I'm buying those immediately. They added new horns into it. They added a fun, like, full-on American flag costume for one of the guys with short shorts and stuff. They got the 3 different guns, one shooting fireworks out of it. I mean, whoever did this, great job. Way to seize the opportunity, the moment, because that's an instant buy right there.
The thing about these cosmetics that I love more than anything is that they still fit within the aesthetic of the game. You know what I mean? We're not in Black Ops territory yet. And I hope
Two
that
guns in red, white, and blue.
Yeah, I mean there are these guns that have the red, white, and blue tracers and the little effect, when the bullet hits the thing. But we're not wearing pink pants and
We're not wearing a
with a
banana
green
suit like
camo
Fortnite.
jacket. Yeah, it let's leave that stuff in Black Ops. Let's keep some semblance of an aesthetic here in Modern Warfare before we feel like we have to, jump the shark and go full crazy with it like PUBG has. You know what I mean?
did they have that in Blackout? I don't think they did like anything crazy like that. Like
They didn't have the crazy character skins like they did in Black Ops 4 multiplayer.
No, I mean, how crazy were they? I don't feel like they were that crazy.
Some of them got pretty colorful.
I guess, but I was thinking more of a Fortnite type of deal. I thought that's where you were going with.
Hmm I'm thinking more like PUBG,
PUBG.
PUBG. It's a good game.
Warzone's king. Warzone's still king, but before Warzone, way before Warzone, we had our game of the week, PUBG. Who wants to give us some background information on PUBG? Who's got it up? Anybody? Let me
Bad
try
Eye,
to.
you know it's you. You're the best at it.
Yeah,
It's
they
the
won't let me
bookkeeper, man,
open it with my other one open.
I think a lot of us can say that this was like one of the first like realistic type battle royale experiences that we had. And since Fortnite was the only thing on console before it in terms of battle royales, I think. So that came out. They promised it by the end of 2017, and it released in December of 2017, early access on the Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it came out earlier that year in like July for PC, and the 1.0 version of PUBG was released in around the same time as the Xbox version. And so this is like considered to be the defining game of the battle royale genre, especially due to its popularity. Even though previous games had existed before, and PUBG started out as a mod of Arma 3. If we all recall, back in the day, PUBG sued somehow, even after being a mod for a little while, decided to sue Fortnite for copyright infringement on the battle royale idea, and they eventually gave up on that lawsuit because I just don't think that was gonna work. It was a good way to like try and get press, I guess, but Fortnite had already like started to run away with the overall popularity. I mean, PUBG was still like up there for sure. And then when you think of PUBG, you just think of the most classic version of a battle royale. You drop in, you parachute. You can't like cut your parachute and then re-parachute. You parachute once, and you go land. No weapons, no armor, no pants in the beginning. If I recall correctly, you had to you could pick up pants off the ground, and eventually they added character customization that let you have pants and a shirt when you landed. You got to pick up your armor, you got to pick up your guns, and then the part that doesn't translate well to console is definitely the attachment system that they have in this game, where you have to especially on the early days, you had to drag the attachment or double click the attachment onto the gun instead of it just auto populating onto the gun. And every gun, when you pick it up, got to reload it. Got to switch the fire rate to full auto instead of single shot. it's definitely that kind of a game. And there's vehicles and a blue storm that surrounds the map. You can last a lot. I forgot how long you could actually last outside the storm until we played yesterday. There's a decent amount of time that you can spend in the storm without losing too much health, which is nice because at one point my roommate used to call it either the jogging simulator or the camping simulator because I'd be like hiding in a bathtub because I was a big solos guy when it first came out on Xbox. I didn't have the squad to go and drop hot and whatnot. So it would be like me just running across the map, hiding in a bathtub, getting further along, and then it just the circle collapses, and then if you're the last one surviving, you win. And there's level tiers to the armor, but other than that, it's pretty much the straightforward version. The ammo is not simplified at all. You have to look and see if you got the 7.62 rounds, the 5.56 rounds, the 9mm rounds, and definitely provides that like most realistic version of a battle royale. And I guess that's like the big easy summary. The only thing that I would add is that currently they have 4 maps, which is the most of any battle royale that I know of. And they're on a random rotation. I think I got struck into all of them yesterday. They vary in size. With either the desert map, we couldn't decide whether the desert map or the original Russian map were the largest. But either of those maps you land on, you got to traverse a whole lot during that battle royale.
Yeah, I love, man, when you read that all back to me, man, it brings a smile to my face and actually gets me excited because when I think of PUBG, I have a lot of great memories. I think of it as one of my truest first ever battle royales, especially being such a big console player. This was special to get over on Xbox, and I was so happy they did it because when you're looking in and out, right? Like it's a lot. So for PUBG to really bridge the gap, yeah, there was Fortnite, but like for PUBG to be one of those true big dogs in the space to bridge the gap and come to console, that was a special moment for me. And I always look at PUBG as kind of like the godfather of the battle royale genre. No matter what came before it or what was around during that time, PUBG had the most staying power. It had the mindset of the people, and I look at that as like this is the godfather of battle royales. This is almost where it started, and man, oh man, so many great times. To see it evolve to where it once was is truly incredible. When we jump back this week, to think back when I first played it during that first initial launch window on Xbox, there used to be cosmetics and clothing on the ground for you to loot. People were so mad at this, where you would drop down and there would be a trench coat and a pair of pants and a beanie. But where are the guns is what you'd be yelling. Where's my backpack? And I always think that's some of the funniest stuff to think back to is like nowadays, when you drop into the war zone, there's not a pair of pants sitting on the ground. Back in the day of
Definitely
PUBG,
not.
there was a pair of pants there and you were in a panic all of a sudden. And
Man,
oh man, this I
yeah,
cannot wait to break this down with you guys because
those
I
early
love
days.
this. Yeah.
You could
Initial
land
thoughts.
and the buildings wouldn't have been like the
Clay.
geometry would still be loading in.
Yep, yep.
It
Or you
was
could get
wild.
trapped inside of a building. Even to this day, I was just watching last night. I was telling the guys, I think we'll touch on this, but PUBG's had such a long staying power now, especially during the time where it's shifted away from being one of the big 3. It has a big esports scene. And I was watching one of the actual PUBG esports going on last night, and they were going into the map, and the map wasn't even loaded in yet. You could still see as they were flying over, it would just slowly loads in textures and like, yeah, that's one of the jank parts of it, but at the same time, like that's one of the, like those novel, like special parts of it is like you know the map, you know where you're going, but like it's just a blank piece down below you, which is wild.
Were they playing on console? That esports team? What's going on?
PC, they're on PC.
PC. Oh, it's interesting because I don't think I've seen that like where the texture pops in on PC. Because when I first played it, it was like right around when it first came out on PC, so that was way before Xbox. But like I didn't ever notice that much of a texture pop in late. I felt like it did, but like it would just pop in right away. It didn't take too long sometimes, but it wasn't like the Xbox version where like it takes forever. You can even go into the house and the textures haven't popped in yet. So it's interesting that you guys had that experience. I never really had that experience. So when I
As
played,
someone who's been playing this game on a base PlayStation 4 all week, I can tell you it still does the texture load in. Looks like clay. Looks like you're landing in clay when you're dropping from the airplane. It might work better on a PS4 Pro, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah, so for me, I never got into PUBG to the level that you guys did. I remember going to work and all the kids saying, Mr. Washburn, there's this game where there's 100 people and they're all dropping in and the last one standing wins." And I'm just like, I'm over here playing like the Division and just like,
FIFA.
yeah, just MLB The Show and normal games. And I didn't, truth be told, I didn't understand what PUBG was until I played Fortnite and then went back to PUBG. And I would hear kids arguing all the time, Fortnite or PUBG, Fortnite or PUBG. And so many of my kids were just, Fortnite just stole what PUBG did for like a full year. There was just that crowd that I just was so vocal about how Fortnite had stolen everything PUBG was and how PUBG was just a better game. And I remember that sort of rivalry. Going back to it now, for me, it's tough because the game, when you compare it to things that are out today, just doesn't hold up. If we're being honest, from the texture pop into the performance on a console, which is what we played it on. What I loved about it is how goofy you could get, and I think it was yesterday, the day before we were playing, and I recorded this Mike putting me on the back of a motorcycle and saying, "How much zone damage are we taking?" Just so he could drive his motorcycle way out into the storm and bust a double backflip off of a specific hill. And we ended up doing that, and it was hilarious. And I think that's something that PUBG still can provide is that sort of shenanigans.
Yeah, definitely. I like PUBG a lot, and like Maddox said, you can take a lot of zone damage. Me watching the pros last night, they were harping on like some teams will just stay in the zone for quite some time, continue the loot circles, and then rotate in. But it's very interesting to see nowadays when us playing, Warzone, that first circle, if you get eaten up by that, you're not making it out. As opposed to PUBG back in the day and still to this day, that first, second circle you can kind of dilly dally. You can kind of take your time. You're slowly making it through, and like you will survive in that. And it's a very interesting mindset of like now we've seen the change, right? Of like, hey, you could camp in this circle, or you can like really slow down your gameplay and just sit in the bathtub all day. To now where it's like, no, that first zone's gonna kill you. You better get involved and get over there, as we've seen with these games, which I like and dislike, but man, oh man, PUBG, how big the map feels as well. The map feels big and there's 4 of them now, which each one is so unique and different. I was telling the guys, I like PUBG because it has stuck with the formula throughout all of its time around here, right? The formula has always been try to be as realistic as possible, be a military shooter. If you die, you die. And I think that's one that kind of draws me to PUBG of like, yeah, it sucks when you die and you get punished, but like at the same time, if you win out, like that's the best feeling. You shoot down Timmy, Timmy's not coming back. You shoot down Tommy over there, Tommy's not coming back. There's no revive, no buyback. And I like that they've stuck strong to like, this is the path. We're going to stay on it and no avoiding like the respawns or anything. I kind of dig that. And I like the realistic feel. The other one I want to bring up is like PUBG is the only battle royale right now that I truly feel that is totally wide open in a lot of parts of the map. And it's all about like big sniper fights, right? Like when you look at Warzone, you look at Apex, look at Fortnite, there's some wide open areas, but nothing to the point of PUBG where you're on that desert map and you can see 3 valleys the opposite way. And some kid is sniping you from a cactus from a billion yards away. And I think that's like some of the coolest moments of how big the map feels, how big the world feels. And we're about to have a gigantic sniper fight from a kid that probably a little pixel on your screen, which I think is truly incredible.
Yeah, I think it's like most of these battle royales where we go back and play. For me, it was, that first game, those first 2 games, it's like, oh man, this is really rough. But after that third game, you start to feel it and you want to go back for more. And I definitely felt that here. After that third game, I was like, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready to get back in there and keep going. And something I think PUBG does really well now, is it makes loot rewarding. And I think part of that is the fact that it's so specific. When you find that 5.56 ammo that you've been looking for, for 20 minutes, it's just like, oh my god, finally. When you find a level 2 backpack to be able to carry more energy drinks or painkillers, it's you feel that like a sense of satisfaction from that. And I've said it before, but like rewarding loot is so key to a BR, and I think PUBG actually does it pretty well. And by that third game, I was ready to keep going. I started to feel it and have a lot of fun with it.
Fun game. Fun really game. Vehicles are fun to use, as always. Remember, Mike, don't bump into anything lightly because you'll just blow up sometimes.
Yeah.
So
We blew up yesterday, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
very
man.
interesting, and I don't want to cut off Kevin because I want to hear what Kevin thinks of it. But it is interesting of like the vehicles are totally different than any of the other vehicles, right? Like these vehicles take damage. These vehicles will explode if you drive them sideways or off the road. Unlike Warzone, where they really feel like I'm banging into a tree, I'm jumping sideways off of a mountaintop. Like that thing's not going to explode at all, which is good and bad. But at least with PUBG, if you drive that car into a rock or a tree, it's most likely going to take a lot of damage or it's just going to straight up explode.
and then you can also pop the tires, which is the big thing I liked
Yeah,
in PUBG.
that's super cool.
Popping tires, making sure that no one else can use it. You can't do that in Warzone, which sucks. I really wish they can do that in Warzone, popping tires. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's what I like. A lot of
What
attachments
else?
on these guns. Yeah.
Yeah, the vehicles are punishing, man. I mean, I was riding in a little sidecar. I think it was Kevin or Matt driving. I don't remember who, but like you were driving the motorcycle. I was in a sidecar. We were going like 10 miles an hour, and I jumped out to go loot a nearby house and took like 25% damage. And I was just like, oh my goodness, man, this is tough. You have to be careful on those things.
Yeah, you gotta wait for it to fully stop, and then that's when you can get out.
Mm-hmm.
It's only grounded vehicles, right? There's no helicopters, is there?
What was there
I don't-
before, Mike? You
They
said
they did add at one point on Erangel, they had a little fun patch for maybe a weekend or for a little bit where they've created a flying glider. Think of one of those airplanes with like the fan behind it, and it's got the little kite on top of it. They had that. It could fit 2 people and you could glide around, but we did not see that on our return. I know that happened when we kind of fell off of PUBG, but very interesting to see, but no true flying mechanics in that game.
I definitely think that that's where Warzone and PUBG kind of succeed is like when you're not winning and you start to do some goofy stuff like trying to chop people with a helicopter in Warzone or backflip your motorcycle, like you have such a good time and you're just laughing with your friends, and that's like what makes PUBG special more than the trying to get wins or the going house to house or trying to snipe someone across the map. It's like, oh, we're in this situation. These vehicles are weirdly fragile. We have to get back in the zone, and it just gets wild from there.
Yeah. I love it. I'm loving it.
Yeah, it is fun. It's a lot of fun going back to, but I don't think I will after all that's come out lately. It's gonna be hard to stick with this one.
I totally agree. And the question in my mind is when we rank this, the question I've been asking myself is do you rank it as it is now against what there is now? Because if that's the case, then this game ranks in my mind pretty low. But if we're thinking about this is sort of the game that started it all and gave us a genre that we love, then that sort of nostalgia factor brings it up. But when you look at PUBG as it is now and you compare it to a Warzone or an Apex, it's tough, man. It runs poorly on console, even if you put the frame setting on, the performance setting. The texture popping is tough. Sometimes I don't even know where I'm dropping. But that mayhem and that sort of comedy factor of it is what keeps me going. So it's an interesting conundrum.
I really like
Never
as
won a
well.
game.
Yeah, exactly. Chicken dinners is right. I mean, the fun part is as well is like to think of some of the mechanics in there. What we touched on when we were playing, right, is that lean left or right. There is no mount, there's no cover system. It is like you get behind something, you can lean left or right, which I really like the implementation of. I'd like to see that in other games, especially once you've played so much, maybe Rainbow Six and stuff with the changing of shoulders. I just love being able to lean to one side or lean to the other when there isn't a mount now involved, especially Call of Duty. You don't see that often in other ones. The weapons are really cool, right? They are grounded weapons. There's a select amount of them, and I like the different ammo. I like the attachments to upgrade it, whether it be the clips, the stocks, the barrels, the underbarrels for the foregrips. I think, like Washburn said, the loot is very rewarding when you find that one piece you really needed to elevate it to the next level. The gunplay is tough. It definitely feels old. It just doesn't run as clean as the other ones. But man, oh man, when you hit that shot, when you take that person down, it does feel very, very rewarding. I would almost say feels more rewarding, maybe because you're battling through so much than it is to take somebody down in Apex Legends for me.
I don't know if it's the case with just the Xbox. I mean, like, I know the PC one still doesn't run exactly perfect, but I don't know if it's the case with the Xbox One. But like what I was saying yesterday was, if this game was built exactly the same from the ground up, so that everything, like when you're jumping in, there isn't any weird loading issues, and all of the weird bug type things with like visuals and distance just like weren't there, like this would be a really fun game to go back to. It's just that thing when you're like jumping in or you're land if you're bone jingles and you're landing like on my old Xbox, I'd land, the textures would not be in. Sometimes the buildings wouldn't even be there. And that's like not a good experience, and it doesn't make you want to come back to it as much, I think. And if it was built up like the exact same way with the armor systems, the guns, the attachments, all that, and the vehicles, even with the vehicles being like weirdly fragile sometimes where you run into like a strange rock, I think you'd have like a very good game. It's just those weird texture pop-in issues and trying to look at someone from like a long distance, or like there was a thing where if you were on like a regular Xbox versus an Xbox One and you were laying in the grass, you could see the person through because they thought they were hiding in the grass, but they actually weren't. Like when it was the resolution on your Xbox wasn't keeping up.
Yeah, I remember those days. I also want to give some credit to like the care package system. That was one
Oh
of the
yeah.
first times we ever saw care packages dropping in and like trait weapons really changing the tide of battle at the end. You could get the ghillie suit inside of that. Now it looks like you can call them in with flares as well. So when we were playing, there was a lot of action, not only from the normal care package, but Kevin was like, hey, there's a flare over there. And we showed up and like, sure enough, there was a squad ready to grab their own loot and ready to go for it, which I really like that. I love seeing the care packages, and that's something we don't really see in Warzone, right? In Apex, there are the care packages. In Fortnite, there used to be the loot llamas. There used to be the balloons over there, and I'm sure there still are.
Still
But
care
like
packages in Fortnite,
this,
I think.
this PUBG is like that's where it began for me as well, right? Of like you saw that red smoke, you know that whatever guns inside is going to change the battle for sure. And I loved going up there. I love having the interactions happen as well up there with the loot dropping.
One
Another
other
thing that
thing,
makes this game hard for me to go back to is the friendly fire. You could shoot your teammates, and that's a big problem with some of the bugs that game has, because sometimes your people on your squad, their names don't pop up, so
that
they
happened
just
to
look like
Washburn.
they just look like a random player. So if they're coming around the corner and you just see that, there's a good chance you're going to kill them.
Yeah, that happened with me and Mike yesterday. I
Yep.
had Maddock and Kevin on the bottom of my screen, and I was like, "Where's Mike? Is he in the match?" And Maddock and Kevin are like, "Yeah, dude, he's right here. You don't see him. He runs around the corner, and I pop a shot right into his chest." he's like, "It's me, Washburn, it's me," and I was just like, "How am I supposed to know this?" You know what I mean? So that's a tough bug, especially with friendly fire on.
For how long it's been out,
And it
that
still
shouldn't
happens.
really
Yeah.
be a
Yep.
thing.
Yeah, like when I was playing on PlayStation just the other day, I was dropping in the weapons loaded in, but the building didn't yet. So when we hit
Yeah.
the ground, you could see where the weapons are, but you couldn't open a door or anything to get inside because the building hasn't loaded. So me and my friend, we were just scouting out where the weapons were, and then we see the other team on the other side of the building. I'm pretty sure they were looking where all the weapons were. So it's kind of annoying to have bugs like that, considering how long that game has been out.
Yeah, I also want to give credit to all the maps, right? Like you got to look at it, like Maddock brought up. How many battle royals have we seen where they have that many maps now? They are still in full rotation. We're talking 4 maps. Kevin said there might even be a 5th, but we know for sure there's a good 4 maps, and each and every one of them is so unique, so fun, and so varied and different, right? There's Erangel, the first map, the iconic PUBG map. You will never forget this map, from the military base to Georgie Pool to Pachinki in the middle. Like, there is nothing that you will ever forget about this map if you've played a battle royale and you've played PUBG. Then to see the desert map and see how wide open it is, the hills to the valleys, to what that looked like. And then you continue on. They were like, you know what? We've given you 2 gigantic maps. We're going to make a really small, in your face jungle map. And that was really fun. To the resort, to the military base, the different cocaine fields as well. Like, they're so unique. And now on the 4th map, where it's snow, there's snow bikes. Of course, you know, I love the snow bike, but there's Dino Land, which you land in. It's like, wow, look at this amusement park. They've added in a train. Everybody's got to have a train. Just, you know, side note, everybody's got to have a train. Call of Duty, we're waiting for your train. But the 4 maps are so unique, so big, so varied. And you don't see many battle royales where it's like, oh, we got 4 solid maps here. And sure, you might not like one as much as the other, but like these are 4 solid maps that you can have a good time on if you know them, if you enjoy playing the game, that really vary up the gameplay, which you got to give some credit to that. That's impressive.
And as the person who's probably played this game the second most, I just want to hear like your general thoughts on it. Because like Mike and you have obviously dropped into this game quite a bit, but you've obviously played a little bit on PC as well.
Yeah. I don't think I'm the second most. I might be the first most. Mike just hasn't seen my stats on PC yet, so he hasn't seen the 700 hours I put into it. I'm just saying,
Gotcha.
get good Mike in that game. But no, yeah. When I started playing with Mike a bit more, he was playing a bit less of PUBG. But when we went into PUBG, I did not like it on console. It did not feel right from switching to PC to Xbox. It's not the control and anything. It's just like it didn't run well. It did not run well at all. I guess Mike was used to it by then, so he didn't see nothing wrong with it. And I was like, man, if you play it on PC, it runs a bit better than this. It's stable. It's 60 frames. Textures pop in a lot quicker sometimes, but I felt like I did pretty well too when I played on PC. I did get some chicken dinners here and there. I got a couple solos. I did a lot of quads. That's what a lot of chicken dinners came from. But yeah, I liked it a lot more on PC, and I still like the game overall. I still want to go back to it on PC, but I know there's friends out there who don't want to play anymore, and people don't want to buy it. Because remember, this is not a free game. This is one of the rare like battle royales that's not
Mhm.
free. It's still like
Yep.
what, $30, and then on sale they're $15. The only place it's free is on Xbox because it's on Game Pass if you want to
Yep, it's on Game Pass. Yep.
say it's free. But yeah, so it's a interesting battle royal, that's for sure.
What do you like about it, Kevin? Like, what are the things when we bring up PUBG and we play it? Like, what are the things that make you smile or like make it differentiate from the battle royales that we've played throughout the years? What do you really like about PUBG?
It's pretty much the memories like what you had, like going on vehicles and just driving around and like doing these dumb tricks like you did, like backflips or up the ramp and stuff like that. That's what I really liked about the game. I guess it's the vehicles, I guess, but like I don't know, like like gameplay wise, I also liked it a lot for it being a third-person battle royale more than Fortnite is third person. So like Fortnite felt like more like cartoony and more like kind of flimsy. I don't know, like to me it felt like flimsy, and then like when I played PUBG, it felt more like steady when I aim down sights. I feel like you can like kill people from far away if you wanted to, and I thought that's the gameplay I liked more than Fortnite when Fortnite came out. So I like the guns and everything. It's really cool, like the attachments you get to put on, all of that stuff. I'd really like that stuff in the vehicles too. Yeah, so I liked.
What were some of the things that you didn't like, or maybe like as we look forward here, what are the things that you would like to see improved upon PUBG?
Just everything like what Maddox's been talking about. Like if they just like remake the whole game again, I think it would just run a lot better and smoother, and it feel a lot better. I guess if they just remake the whole thing and kind of fix every little thing the other like first PUBG I guess would have, I think everything would just be a lot better, no matter what.
Made like a PUBG 2.0 scenario, kind of.
Yeah, or just PUBG 2. I don't know. So like I
Okay.
guess fixing like I don't know, what would you fix? I guess cut the shoot so you can like cut shoot and bring it back up. But I
So
can't really.
It's mostly just
redeployment,
about
would you want respawns, stuff like
No, I
that?
wouldn't want to respawn. I wanted to keep it as is. And die, you're dead forever, and there's no coming back. I like that.
Yeah, I'd keep respawns out of it because this seems like the hardcore battle royale. If you want to be hardcore about
Yeah,
playing
this is
this
the
type of game,
realistic battle royale.
this is for the hardcore players.
So that's what I like.
I-
No respawns and nothing like that. Nothing crazy, dude.
Okay. Good. I like that, Kevin. We like hearing your insights. Another one I want to touch on is like the evolution, like we've said, right? Like, look at the menu when you go into this now. It has play, it has custom games, which I want to touch on really quick. They have team deathmatch custom games, which we've played before. It drops you into a small area. There are respawns. You spawn with different weapons, which is a good time. But I also want to touch on this is like the only battle royale that I know where you can play a full on custom game with all of your friends in the actual truest battle royale and have spectators to make spectate mode and commentary, everybody in their own teams. Like when you look around the battle royale space, there is nothing else like this except for Darwin Project does have a custom game, a little bit, different kind of play style here, but like Call of Duty doesn't, Apex Legends doesn't. Fortnite, I don't think has a full on custom game where you can say, hey, I'm going to bring in 50 teams that I've chosen or that are my friends. I can spectate them with a killer spectate mode and jump around. Like you got to give some love to that kind of aspect. I think is really really cool, and I would love to see in Warzone because I personally, coming from a commentator and a host and an esports guy, I would love to be able to be like, hey, I want to host a Snowbike Mike Friday tournament. I'm going to get 50 teams right to go drop in. PUBG allows you to do that, and I think that's super dope. Then as well, we've seen a season pass implemented. We've seen character customization. We've seen them link up with DC and sell Joker and Harley Quinn skins, and they've gone from more of a hey, everybody's like kind of radical metal Mad Max type look to now it's like you can wear neon pink pants, you can dress up whatever you like, and it's all
Sure.
kind of crazy. And the final one I want to touch on is like the esports page is awesome. What a great way to promote one of your biggest things in PUBG, which is the esports leg right now to keep this thing standing. But like they had the teams there, they had the rankings, they had the dates of the tournaments, where you can find it. They even have a pick 'em where you can pick the teams, the players you think will do best, and have like a mini game within the game. Like this is things when Apex has their big tournaments, you got to figure out a way for me, the general audience, to now know about it. And what better way than to put it right on the main menu and show me the teams, their standings, their pictures were in there, their names were in there. Like that's a that's a killer addition into just the grand scheme of the game to really push it to the next level, in my opinion.
What do you think of the red zone, the random bombings? Do you think that's something they could maybe
They're
approve
like,
upon?
hey, what if we made this game more difficult and random? And all of
Yeah.
a sudden, you're just gonna have to run for your life for literally no reason other than this is in Russia and we just bomb people.
Yeah, I've never once died to that red zone. I
Yeah.
almost felt like it was pointless most of the time.
Yeah, I don't think it was that difficult to work around it anyways. Like, most of the time you were like, you had enough time to leave the circle, so
Hmm.
it
Would
didn't
there
really
be
matter.
high tier loot in those red zones?
No, they
Or
were
is
just
it just-
random.
Just
Which is randomly.
Random bombing sections. People didn't. I've never met somebody that truly knew what it was. If it was just random, or some people said that's just like where the highest pollution of people were. But I don't really know if that's true or not. But I've died multiple times in the red zone. I can't
Oh,
confess
wow.
to that.
Really?
I
Wow.
think it. I think it's different, right? Like when we see the zones right now in all the big battle royales that we play, nobody's like, "Hey, this sector of the zone's about to get just bombarded. Maybe you should be inside, or like you should get out of this zone to force you to move." Right? It's all about movement, rotations, the shot calls that these teams make in a bigger standpoint, right? Like I would love one day just to ride along with different teams and listen to their comms, listen to how they play. Are we playing it fun and we don't care? Are we playing it like, hey, Becky, go this way, let's follow you that way? Or like, are teams actually looking like, hey, we need to rotate to the shorter side of the circle, or this red zone now is pushing us forward, or we need to rotate that way? Like, it comes down to a rotation game and a shot calling game. And I think you see that in PUBG of like people clearly figured out what they need to do. Well, guess what? Let's leave it up to fate. Let's have a little fun. Here's a red zone to throw on top of it. I think it's a cool idea.
Any other thoughts before we rank it? Are we ready to rank?
I think we're ready.
I'm
All
ready.
right.
We're ready.
let's
Let's
do
rank that. Let's rank that BR. Right now, our current ranking: number 1, Apex Legends. Number 2, Super Animal Royale. And number 3 is Ring of Elysium. Where do we think PUBG is going to be ranking?
Number
Maddock, what
one.
do you think? Kevin wants number 1. He's wrong.
I think after our discussion today, I would probably put it at number 2.
Number 2. Mike,
Yeah.
what do you think? Number
That
2.
is the correct decision. And of course, I can bring up all the selling points, but I think when we really look at it, no matter how much you hold it near and dear to your heart, no matter how much you hate it, when you look at what we just talked about, right, and all the things that go into this PUBG game, you have to put it above Ring of Elysium and Super Animal Royale. I think Apex Legends has a lot more good. It's the newer age. It does play better. It's a lot more fun. But in all that retrospect, this has to go above Super Animal Royale. It has to go above Ring of Elysium for everything it brings to the table and more. I think it has to be number 2.
Washburn, what do you think?
Y'all are crazy, bro. This is number 3. Super Animal Royale is better than this.
I'm going to.
No,
Yeah.
No.
Yes, absolutely. Super Animal Royale is so good at what it tries to do and so immediately polished and has such a great level of customization that this is, I mean, for me, this is number 3. And I know I'm going to get outvoted, so it doesn't matter. But I want my voice to be heard that Super Animal Royale is a better game than this. Hands down. I mean, like, comparing the two as they are now, Super Animal Royale is a better game than this. Period.
So Kevin's 2. What'd you say, Maddock? 2.
Mike said 2.
I'm with Washburn. I would rank it number 3. Once Call of Duty Blackout came out, PUBG was dead to me. It was dead to me, and then I'm ranking it on which one I have more fun with. And I have more fun with Super Animal Royale than I do PUBG. So I would have ranked it number 3 as well, but it looks like it's going number 2. Everybody's on board for number 2 then.
Mark it down then.
Number two. God, number 3.
There it
You guys
is.
are crazy, dude.
So the new ranking: number 1, Apex Legends; number 2, PUBG; number 3, Super Animal Royale; and number 4 is Ring of Elysium.
Yo, this is a crime. And I'll hold it against you to the end of time.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Washburn, you're wrong, so we're right.
No.
That's what matters, you know?
Oh my God.
Washburn, you were right on the fun factor, but you're wrong in the battle royale factor. Just
No, man.
unfortunately, it's just true. That's how it goes. The fun
No.
factor, I think we all would vote on and we would agree on. The issue is PUBG from a battle royale standpoint has way more to it. That's all. That's just too much. Just too much.
Yeah, but it's a quantity over quality thing. Everything Super Animal Royale does is just so quality. That game doesn't miss. It's perfect. That
Perfect.
for what Super Animal Royale does, it is perfect at what it tries to do in every facet, from the gameplay, the guns, the map, the customization, everything that game tries to do, sets out to do, it succeeds on every level. PUBG is just a mishmash of crazy loot and vehicles, and sometimes it can be fun and you get shenanigans like doing backflips, but it runs poorly. It's not very fun to play, and Super Animal Royale is a better game than this, and this is a crime, and I'll hold it against you to the end of time
I
for
never
the rest of your lives.
I've never
The
used
way I
Plasma
was looking
before.
at the list, the way I'm
I have
looking
a
at
good
the list
idea.
is
You can
if
make
I
an
sh-
emote about it.
yeah, the way I'm looking at the list, if I was to show somebody this list, I would want the ones that the battle royals I could recommend to new players. And I feel like Super Animal Royale is way more accessible for a new player to get into. So that's why I would rank it above PUBG. PUBG just seems way too hard to get into for a new player. But it's number 2. No looking back now. All right, guys,
I'm
you ready for
making
some?
an emote.
Dude, you're wrong either
All
way.
right.
Blackbird's way of
All right, so
making
we got
sure
a
that
new
we know
segment.
we're wrong.
We
Left
got a new
trigger's aiming.
segment. You guys ready for a new segment?
Ready.
Yeah, I'm ready
All right.
for Bone Jangles' enormous battle royale
This is-
trivia.
Yeah, I'm calling it Bone Jangles. It's
Five-player
Battle
edition.
Royale Trivia. Battle
I
Royale.
only have a Sharpie. Is that all right? Because I don't have a pen or
Just something to write with. It
or
doesn't matter.
paper.
So what we're gonna do is I got 9 questions here. I'm gonna go through each question has a different amount of points you can get from it. I'm gonna go through each question. You guys write down your answers, and then once I get through all the questions, we'll go through them, and you guys can add up how many points you got. So I'll start out with an easy question, probably. So let me know when you guys are ready if you have everything to write on.
This is not multiple choice, right?
Ready?
No,
Oh,
No.
shoot, this is even harder.
I'm
there's
ready
going to
to
be
go.
multiple
We're gonna get dunked on.
answers. There's going to be multiple answers to questions, but it's not multiple
Oh
choice.
god.
Okay.
All right, all right.
So I'll start out with this. I'll start out with the first one. So this is a Warzone question about loadouts. It's worth 1 point. In Warzone, what weapon class can the crossbow be found under?
Oh.
Some of these are going to be hard.
You said this one was easy.
Exactly what?
I thought it was. I thought it would be since
easy.
they've added crossbows to Gulag, and they pretty much tell you what it is every time you get it.
Okay, got it.
Whoa, no hints.
No hints. No hints. No
dude,
hints.
no hints, dude. Washford didn't know. All right.
I
I
still
didn't
don't know.
Now I know.
I have a guess.
Let's just call something specific. No, I think I'm good. I'm good.
Are you okay? This is the one I should have asked first, probably. This is probably the easier one. This is an Apex question. What was the name of the map that was introduced in Season 3?
I like this game so far.
Everybody ready for the
Yep.
next one? Next question is about Apex as well. It's worth 1 point. How many heroes did Apex Legends originally launch with?
Oh shit.
So launch window.
God. Go with my gut or go with what I think is right. You know what I'm saying? That's the question here.
I'm loving this. I'm loving it.
I think I messed that one up, bro.
All right, next question. Another Apex one. This one's worth 5 points because you're going to have to name them all.
Oh.
Not counting special ammo in Apex Legends. What are the 5 ammo types?
Wait. Is this counting the new stuff, right? So it's
Not counting. Yes, currently.
'Cause they-
Not
they-
counting special ammo from the special weapon drops.
Yeah, 'cause
What
I-
are the 5 ammo types?
Okay. So yeah, they added more ambos afterwards.
All right, question number 5 is another 2-point question about Apex. What 2 weapons can be equipped with a double tap trigger?
Huh. Huh.
I know one of them for sure. The second one is just such a guess,
I
bro.
think I got the second one's
trying to
name.
do it right now, dude. I don't know the second one's name anymore.
I know both of them.
Somebody did. So yes, somebody didn't play Apex enough last week. All right, this next one's probably going to be kind of tough. This one's worth
1 second. Give me 1 more second. Give me 5.
No,
Give me
he's
5.
cheating. He's cheating, dude. He's cheating.
No, I'm just sitting down. Just give me a moment. Give me a moment. Okay, just go for it.
All right, next question. This one's probably a little tough. It's you could get 3 points possible. If you could only name one, I'll give you 1 point. But when choosing, this one's hard. I probably shouldn't have put this down. When choosing an operator in Warzone, there are 2 factions: the Coalition and the Allegiance. Besides the standard Mill Slim character, what are the names of the 3 groups on the side of the Coalition?
Oh my
On the Coalition?
On the Coalition.
I can name one of them. That's
Yeah.
it.
There you go, Kevin. That's 1 point if you can name it.
Oh shoot, what is the names again though? Dang it.
I was thinking Mike might get it since he's buying all these skins all the time for all these characters.
I'm
He'd
not
have to
looking
go
at
on
that.
menus
I'm
and
not
look.
looking at that. That's insane. I'm not looking at that.
I've got one. I know one.
I think I have. Wait, I may have 2. How many are there?
3 on the side of the Coalition. There is 4 if you count the standard Mill Slim, but we're only naming the other 3.
I think I know the other one. I think it's. I think
Kevin,
it's.
just whisper it to me.
Oh yeah. Here. Did you get it?
Ready for the
Go for it.
I'm not gonna get this, so yeah, you might as well just go on to the next one.
Run it.
Okay,
Yeah, that's tough.
next
Yeah, I don't know what
question?
that is.
This is a super animal royale question.
Okay.
What is the name of the healing item used to regain lost health?
For which game? Sorry, I missed.
Super Animal Royale.
I don't remember.
I love this. This is fun.
This is really good. You did a great job, Bone Jangles. This is impressive.
All right, next question. Question 8. This is for 3 points. If you don't get them, if you only get 1, you get 1 point. If you get 2, you get 2 points. In Fortnite, this one's easy. What are the 3 material types used to build?
I'm blanking on one of them. What's wrong with me? Oh, got it.
If we get close, can we
Figured
get
it
half
out.
a point? I don't remember the other one.
We'll see what your answer is. All right, and this is going to be the final question. This is worth a lot of points. This one's 7 points. This is your chance to catch up. This is a Warzone question. When setting up a custom loadout, what are the weapon types that are available for the primary weapon slot, not the secondary weapon slot? What are the 7 weapon types available for the primary weapon slot, not the secondary weapon slot?
I don't want to write them all out. So much.
You can you could abbreviate them. I think I'll know what you're talking about.
God, my phone's autocorrecting. It's pissing me
Did
off.
you tell us how many there were?
Yes, there's 7. 7 points, so there's 7 of them.
I hope they're not calling something else. I hope they're not.
Fuck.
One, two, three, four, five.
I have a feeling you guys are probably going to miss one of them.
One, two,
In
three, four,
Warzone.
5.
Oh,
You
I
said
don't
there's 7 of them?
There's 7.
I don't know what that one's called though.
You'll know it when I tell you.
I know what's under it, but I don't know what's it called.
Pretty close. I got 7. We'll see if this is right though.
Yeah, I have 7, but I hope it's called this.
I know 6. I have no idea what I'm missing.
I have no idea what I'm missing in there. It's probably something really obvious though.
All right, so we're going to go through the answers. I'm going to have you guys add up your score. So say we get to one that was 3 points and you got 2 out of the 3, you get 2 points. So we'll start with the first question, which was the Warzone loadout question. What weapon class can the crossbow be found under? The
Marksman
answer,
rifle.
marksman rifle. That's correct.
Expensive.
Oh no.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
guys
baby.
put snipers.
Yes, I put sniper.
So marksman rifle. If you got that one right, you get 1 point. Question 2 was the Apex Legends question. How many heroes did Apex Legends originally launch
no,
with?
Question 3.
wait,
You
that's
did
the-
Question
you did
2 is the map.
map.
Oh,
Season
okay,
3 map.
okay. What was the name?
World's Edge.
Yes,
World's
yeah.
Edge. Yep,
That's 1 point.
that's 1 point. And then the next question was, how many heroes did the Apex Legends originally launch with? The
9?
answer,
8?
8.
8.
Yeah,
8
okay, good.
champion.
Wait, who?
That
Mirage,
was my
Pathfinder,
gut, bro.
Bloodhound, Bangalore, Gibraltar, Lifeline. Oh, I wrote Mirage twice. That's why I did that, right?
My
Damn it.
gut was 8, and then I was like, was
Uh.
Watson number 8?
I knew that was an
What?
8. I
Watson
knew,
was 10.
yeah, because our team was 9.
Oh my god,
And
bro.
then
Yeah,
it was
that's right.
Crypto,
Octane
and
was
then
9.
Revenant and Loba. Because
I did have.
we talked about this,
I-
Mike. like,
Yeah. We've gone through this, is right.
yeah.
I originally had the question. What was the first DLC character they added,
Oh,
or
I should've
new
done that.
character they
Yeah,
added?
should've done that one. That was
I knew
easy.
Kevin would get that one. Next
Kevin
question
loves
was,
that, dude.
so that one was 1 point. These have all been
Okay.
1 point so far. This
Okay.
next one was 5 points. It would name the ammo types in Apex Legends. We have light rounds,
Rounds. Heavy.
heavy,
Energy.
energy,
shotgun,
shotgun,
and sniper.
Sniper, yeah.
and sniper.
Yes.
I was close.
So that
I
was-
was like, is it called Sniper or is it called something else? That was so close.
Is that worth
5
covering
points if you got
5
them all.
points?
If you only got 4, you get 4 points.
This next one's gonna be interesting, bro.
This one I'm only getting 1 for sure.
I know
All
what
right.
the answer to
I
this
got
one
this
is.
one. Yeah, me too.
This one's 2 points. What 2 weapons can be equipped with a double tap trigger in Apex Legends?
Scout.
G7 Scout.
G7, baby.
for sure.
Okay.
And
And
the
now
Eva
Eva.
8.
What?
Eva
Yeah.
8 shotgun.
Eva.
Oh my god.
I only remembered Peacekeeper and Mastiff. I couldn't put my finger on Eva. I wrote Grodd just for fun. Okay, so I'll give myself
I was
one.
close to calling it Evo, but I was like, no, that's the shield. Evo shields.
Eva 8. Yep.
Yeah, so if you only got G7, that's 1 point for you. Next question was the 3 points. I can't wait to hear what you guys came up with. When choosing an operator in Warzone, what are the three groups on the coalition side?
So the coalition are the good guys, right? And they're on the left side.
Yeah, they're on the left side. I don't know if
Okay.
they're the good guys, but yes, they're on the left side.
So
I
Price,
guess
right?
was SAS.
SAS is 1.
Demon Dogs.
Wow.
Demon Dogs, Kevin, nice job.
I don't know
And
the other
then
one.
the third one is Warcom.
I
Warcom.
wrote-
I got one. I got one.
I
there.
wrote Captain Price's Cool Squad and
Okay.
Ghost's Legendary Spooky Men. I
Close.
guess that is wrong.
I
So
wrote
you
no
got-
idea.
So add up your points there. That was out of 3.
2.
In Super Animal Royale, what is the name of the healing item used to regain lost health?
Soda.
Juice,
Juice.
It's just health
It said
juice.
Duct tape.
Okay.
health juice.
Just juice, health
So-
juice,
Yeah.
yeah.
So is juice
I'll
good?
give you. I'll give you
yeah,
half.
will you accept
Yeah.
juice?
Yeah, I'll accept juice.
Okay, good.
Duct tape. 'Cause
Sounds
that's
like-
how you fix the armor.
Duct tape is dope.
What'd you call him, Mike?
Soda.
Soda. Come on,
That's a
Mike.
0.
It's not friendly.
Question 8. In Fortnite, what are the 3 material types used to build?
Wood,
Wood,
brick,
metal, and
metal.
stone.
Wood,
Wood,
stone,
stone,
and metal.
I call it bricks.
Yes.
Dang it.
I was almost
if
gonna
you
call
wrote-
bricks, Kevin. I wrote stone instead.
Well,
thank
I have
God.
chicken scratch handwriting, but what if you wrote stone/brick?
That's acceptable, I think.
I'll take it. I'll take
Okay.
it. Stone.
Because you
I'll
get
take
stone
bricks
type.
from it, so I'm like, it's called bricks, right? Stones would be like rocks.
Yeah, but I thought about smashing rocks, and I was like, that would be a stone. I
Is
know
that
it comes
3?
into brick, but it's
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
that's
you're
that's
right.
3 points possible. Wood, stone, and metal.
I was blanking on the stone one.
Don't you pickaxe rocks and arc? Is that in Fortnite as well?
Yeah, you pickaxe rocks in Fortnite.
Yeah,
Oh,
100%.
I don't know. I don't play Fortnite. I don't know.
And then the
Okay.
final question was worth 7 points, so you could possibly get 7 points here. In Warzone, when setting up a custom loadout, what are the weapon types that are available for the primary weapon slot, not the secondary weapon slot?
Assault, SMG, LMG,
Oh,
marksman,
OMG.
sniper,
Shotgun,
melee,
shotgun.
and shotgun.
Yeah.
Yep,
Oh,
shotgun.
I
I
shotgun
missed.
too.
I
Hold
missed
up.
shotgun.
Yes, I
Hold
got
on,
them all.
Shotgun.
Tony, read them off nice and slow so I can just mark off the ones
Okay.
that I got here.
Assault rifle,
Okay.
SMG,
Okay.
LMG. You don't have that one, Mike?
I didn't even think of LMG.
LMG,
LMG or
Shotgun.
shotgun for some reason.
Shotgun, I
Shot-
got. Yep.
marksman rifle,
Got it.
sniper rifle,
Got it.
and melee.
Got it. I wrote RPG. That's why.
That's secondary, dude.
I got
Yep.
6. I got 6 on that.
I
5.
got 6.
I got
Yep.
7. Oh, I was so close. I was like, is it called just the right shield or is it the melee? Because I can't remember
So-
where the knives were at.
So add up your point totals if you have them now, and we'll find out who the winner is. Who's getting that chicken dinner tonight?
I'm at 18.
17.
Maddox 17.
8, 9,
20,
12.
22?
Yeah, Kevin killed us.
Kevin.
18 for Mike. Dang it.
Kevin's the winner. Congrats, Kevin.
How did I
Mike
get,
will be sending you another check in
That's
the mail.
4 checks.
How did I get
Kevin,
ahead?
you
Four
get the
checks.
host next week. That's what you win. You get the host next
I'll
week.
host next week. Don't you worry, dude. I'm gonna make fun of you guys
Heck.
in the intro. Just watch.
Good. Good. Kevin A6, the man who cashes checks, is his next intro, I think.
Kevin, you're getting paid soon, man. You're gonna be living large.
How did I get up ahead though? I thought I was tied up with one of you guys.
No, I finished with 18.
18.
Kevin, do you know how-
17.
did
because
you
I
add
fell
wrong,
behind
Kevin?
account. Mirage twice.
I don't think I did. So marksman number 1, World's Edge 2, 8, 3.
No, World's Edge.
World's Edges with 1.
1 point.
Oh, I was like going down the list
Yeah, he's going down like the question.
and adding him up
question.
too. So I'm at
Kevin,
3
you won.
points.
We know you won.
All right.
You
Okay.
won.
Yeah, we
You
trust
know
you,
won.
Kevin. We trust
we
you,
trust
Kevin.
You were like 4 points ahead or something.
Yeah, I was like, how did I get 4 points ahead? I did get
Because
the
you named the squads in
Yeah,
freaking Call
well.
of Duty that none of us knew, basically.
How do you know
True.
that was easy because like Demon Dogs and SAS are the only ones I look at. I don't know the ones all the way on the right side of that screen.
Tony, take us out of here, kid.
All right, guys, that's going to be the closing of the show. Thanks to each and every single one of you for listening. If you haven't already, please go subscribe to Snowbike Mike Gaming on YouTube. That is the home of the Squad Pod. I believe you can find the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, all those services. Thanks to Kevin. More services are pending, I'm sure. Head on over to Twitter to follow Squad Pod Plays. You guys feel free to ask some questions on there. Send us some questions in. Maybe we'll work them into a future episode. Now that I kind of want to start doing like different segments and stuff. So if you have any questions, send them in. And then while you're over there, follow the squad. We have at Washburn135. Washburn, do you have any suggestions for anything you've been watching this week that maybe you want to suggest to the people out there?
Shout out to Sad Boy Barrett on Twitch streaming MLB The Show, one of my favorite games on PlayStation. at twitch.tv/sadboybarrett.
Awesome. So that's at Washburn135, at Maddock Jr. on Twitter. What do you got for us, Maddock? What do you suggest?
I've been watching a little bit of the Ian Y. Not streams. He is playing a little bit of the Pokemon DLC. Pretty funny. And he has like a weirdly encyclopedic knowledge of every Pokemon.
Nice. Then we have at Kevin Ace X. Kevin, what do you got for us?
I've just been watching the small time streamer. He might be big. I guess he got a new camera or something like that. His name is Bone Jangles, and he's pretty cool. No, and Mike, pretty much. That's all I've been watching lately.
So that's at Snowbike Mike on Twitter. Mike, what do you got to suggest? Anything?
I've been watching a lot of YouTube lately, and I've been watching a lot of Austin Evans videos. Fun, techie, nerdy kid with a cool crew, and they do a lot of fun stuff around tech, whether it be reviewing certain cool pieces of television, consoles, computers, or buying just random things off of Wish and having it come in and do mystery tech. I highly recommend just checking them out. Have some fun. The kid's really knowledgeable, fun team, and fun ideas on the videos. YouTube.com/Austin Evans.
So that's at Snowbike Mike on Twitter once again. Go give him a follow. He's got pugs. He's got the pug pictures. And then me, I'm at Mr. Bonejangles on Twitter, and I got one Twitch channel for you guys to check out. He goes by the name of Benny Fitz. Benny Fitz TV. This guy is a streamer who streams with a puppet. He uses a puppet while he's streaming. Go over to his channel, give him a follow. He's usually playing Destiny, The Division. I've seen him play Apex a couple times. He might try Hyper Scape out, but that's Benny Fitz TV on Twitch. Go follow him. Become a friends with benefits. That's his tagline. Become a friend with benefits. So go give him a follow. Next week on the show, our game of the week, our point of interest is going to be Realm Royale. Is that correct? Is that what we all want? Realm Royale.
That's correct. Yep.
Let's do it.
So be sure to check out that episode next week. And again, thank you guys for being here. Thank the squad. Thank the listeners. And until next week, comms out.